Hey guys, this is the early show. Thank you, Mitch, for getting us all set up. Mitch at Story Investors here helping us out today while producer AB is out. I think he's out there looking for rare V for Vendetta Donkey Kong pops. One thing I want to share something with you really quick. Actually, should we do this after the open? How many of y'all are here? Let's wait. Let's wait a little bit. So I see. How
about we play a little music while we get everyone over before we start up? Spencer's ending up, so.
Okay, so yeah, play music and I'll just quietly chart in the background.
There you go. There you go. Let's do this.
Neil, are we live? I think we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, just checking. As long as you knew that, that's fine.
Yeah. I figured this is like the. Oh wait, did you end the pre-market prep?
Hell yeah, baby!
Just
okay.
ended.
Okay.
Just a second ago.
Do you want to roll the intro, Mitch?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Welcome into the open where we get technical. You should have investments in long-term growth.
Neil, what are you doing? Neil, are you pranking me right now? Neil, what is going on?
Dude, I'm running a show, Spencer. You're tripping so hard.
Dude, what? I feel like I just had a seizure. What just happened?
Okay, so you take a nap. You go back to sleep. Man, Spencer ruined the intro. Take it, roll it back. Editors.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Welcome into the open where we get technical. You should have investments in long-term growth.
Smash that like and hit subscribe. Also hit that bell so you can be notified every time I come online. All right. This is the video I wanted to play. We got too many cooks in the kitchen here on Get Technical. Hey YouTube, what's up? I'm Neil from Benzinga, and this is Get Technical. Make sure you smash that like and hit subscribe. Also hit that bell so you can be notified every time I come online. Palantir. Today's question is, should I buy Palantir? And after some quick technical analysis, no. I'm not seeing any sign. The primary reason, we cover this at the top of the show, but maybe you guys, I don't know if our editors will like that more age-appropriate YouTube intro. For volume profile, using volume profile, we can see that we're trading below the point of control. I think it's not a buy until it breaks above that. Hey YouTube, Sorry about the confusion.
Wait, can I just add something real fast? There was no volume on that the first time. That's why I was confused.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Palantir had a good move. It got past point of control on the volume profile. Some of y'all got in, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy for you. 13. I don't know what's happening right now either. Do I feel sorry? Meh. So with Palantir, I said that it's not a buy for me until we get above the point of control. We got above the point of control, it became a buy for me. That's about it. If you guys want to get more aggressive on this stuff and go into it earlier, happy to. That's just not my style. Mitch/Spencer, watch for the opening bell.
You know what, Neil? I was specifically warned about that by producer AB, so I'm ready.
Yeah, pretty sure AP felt kind of bad.
He warned me about the opening bell, so I'm ready.
Yep. Yeah, Palantir has had a great story, so it's a great long-term holding. It's just about timing when we're looking at technical. So at any rate, yeah, no, I mean, I think Powell is talking today, if I'm not mistaken. So who knows what will happen to this nice little rally that we've had. Let's take a quick look at QQQ. Delete my doodles. And it's just been jumping up by leaps and bounds. It's absolute madness. Absolute madness. Yeah, I forgot to say, yo. What's up, y'all? It's Neil here. It's your boy, Neil. That's how you do a proper YouTube intro. I mean, let's look for support to be held at this previous high on the summer of 2020, or it will come to be known as the summer of love. So QQQ. Absolutely looking great, but just watch out for it. We got Powell talking today, and we're getting up into that sort of 70 range, which for QQQ and SPY is usually when it starts to back off a little bit. It's more sensitive on RSI than most stocks are. So at any rate, that's QQQ looking strong. I am looking at tech stocks. The question is, are tech stocks a buy once again? I think yes. What I like to have is my long-term holdings in the background, printing money for me. Maybe not as fast of a rate as my swing trades, but it's good to have that backdrop of long-term growth investments. So I'm going to look at SPY really quick, but I also think ARK is back in action. ARK is back. It's funny how fickle people are. Everyone, so many people are making personal attacks on ARK Invest's CEO Kathy Wood. Which was kind of actually sad, but nonetheless, it was just.
Yo, can I interrupt you? We're 20 seconds. Should I play the opening bell? We're about to hit.
Is it me? Guys? Yeah. Go ahead and hit it.
We're doing it.
3, 2, 1, 0.
We are off to a great start today. There was another bell in the background. Damn, we got our shit together. We are ready for the big time, guys. Make sure you guys, if you know of any, I want you to at Netflix, at Roku, at HBO Now, let them know that they need Benzinga news on their platform. There is not a more professional, buttoned up production on the market. All right, guys. Thank you for watching the show today. We are getting a little bit of a red candle here on SPY, but boy, what a run we had! And it's seldom that SPY gets up, at least in recent times, that it gets up to this level and doesn't immediately retreat. So don't blame it all on JPOW. But we shall see. We shall see. It's looking like support is going to be at about 406 absolute support. But hopefully we don't have to drop that down that far before we get our next impulse. So I'm expecting a corrective phase. Who knows how long it will last? This market wants to get back into growth. So the next thing I want to look at, this whole thing is, are tech stocks a way to print money once again? I'm thinking, and I use that term very, very loosely. If you're actually taking trading advice from me, you're doing it wrong. All right. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm here learning with you. I'm pretty much at your level, if not worse than you at trading. So let's look at, I want to look at ARK. Take a look at ARK. ARK is a buy. It's, in my humble opinion, ARK is a buy right now. Why? It's resolved its rounding or its double bottom, and it's past its point of control. I think it's trying to break out right now, right out of our box. You can see that we boxed this in pretty well. We shall watch it today. If it breaks out, I think I'm going to average into it. I'm going to start piling a bit. So there's some Fibonacci lines for you to give a little more context. They're not perfect. I wonder if I bring them lower, if they will be. Lower or higher. We'll try this absolute low here on the pattern. That doesn't quite look like it. We'll use this low on the pattern, which is what I've drawn. Doesn't look like that. Look like it. Let's use, okay, so using the body of the lowest candle on the right pivot of our double bottom gives us some pretty nice Fibonacci lines, lining us up with the top where the meat of the trading happened here. So we are looking at a little bit of resistance here, but I think ARK is going to be a great buy, and there's plenty of money to be made between now and its return back to its previous highs, 24% to get there. So that's ARK. Guys, thank you all so much for being cooperative and tweeting at me your picks. So we got plenty to look at from the morning from Twitter. Trying to think. Let's blast through like the big tech names. Look at Alpha Papalima. Apple, just a little bit further along in its journey. Something to note is that Apple's volume, which I don't have my average volume on here. Let me add average volume really quick. Indicator. Wait, or does this thing have something built in? Let's see. Yeah, volume, moving average, precision, blah, 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 inputs, moving average length. Let's just do 20 days. That's fine. You can see that the volume is below the 20-day moving average on Apple. So it is moving on low volume, which should be tenuous, but I mean, people are buying these stocks. They want them to go up. So Apple, I'm less certain about. I think the big trade has already happened. If you're long term, of course. X is breaking out. All right, so quick X check. Boom, baby, it's doing, yes. X is going to give it to you. All right. Miles, big shout out to Miles. We are bouncing off of our support here. And Miles, a viewer of the show, tweeted, which I should find a tweet and share it with you, pointed out that each one of these impulsive moves has been like an average of 45 to 50%. So the expectation there, of course, being that our next impulsive move will be 50%. I'm going to go ahead and lock that in really quick. X, going to give it to you. United States Steel Corp. But also, guys, be careful because intraday is probably going to be a little bit wonky because we do have a Fed talk today. So I'm just going to get. I usually start with like $500. So for X, how many shares is that? Yeah, I'll do 30 shares of X. The heavy metal amount. You guys already know if you look at what 30 shares is. So I'm going to go ahead and enter X with 30 shares. But I'm going to watch it. Watch it closely. Yeah, and guys, please, I don't know if is that about the likes. Guys, please hit the like button so we can get this show noticed. And get more folks in here and get better trade ideas from a bigger community. Also, if we get up to an average, I'll say, because y'all didn't get it for yesterday, if we get up to an average of 250 likes per video, we'll do a special edition Saturday session where it'll go much longer, perhaps all day, depending on when I get tired and need to take a nappy. And we'll put together a watch list by doing research together. We'll put together our watch list for next week. Yeah, so something to point out. So Miles is saying that he sees heavy volume on the X move, but Miles is always looking at the hourly when he talks about stuff. Let me see if I got you on this. Yeah, so on the hourly, it's a pop there. Let's see. Let's go down to the 30-minute. Yeah, you can see that it's a pretty big pop. This is above average now on the 30-minute. What we can also look at, guys, for all you options traders, this is an option scalp for sure. Potential to get in the money. Friday expiration, options on X. Wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't mind it because you're looking at resistance maybe here and then maybe here. Good potential to make some money there. When is your last day off? What does that mean? Oh, when was your last? When was it? I usually take the weekends off, but we had the boot camp last weekend, and then we had a webinar the next day. So, last day off was the previous Sunday. So 2 Sundays ago, or 2 Saturdays ago, I think. Losing track. All right, so let's go over to Twitter and look at the picks you guys gave. Man, I had such a good setup for the show. I was going to trick you guys with the video of me making my, I still think, like, reasonable call on Palantir. But it definitely triggered a lot of YOLO traders. But oh well. That's life. So let's look at what y'all got. So first up, looks like Foolhardy was really quick with SKLZ. SKLZ is the first one we'll look at right now. But watch an X. SKLZ. Woo! Here's my notes. So it looks like it's bouncing for sure. SKLZ, and I'll give a shout out to the person that gave me that. That's Foolhardy with the weird, like, I don't know, like frosting thing as the avatar. I like it. Yeah, I mean, this looks like we're in reversal territory. The question is it gonna, how many times is it gonna touch? When's the entry? Let me get these moving averages out of the way because I use those on the shorter term. Get the old Bollinger Band. Okay, so I think with skills, just a quick take, you can see how far does this go back. Yeah. All right. So the all-time point of control is at 19, basically 19 and a quarter, right here, and that's starting to converge now with the 20-day moving average, which is this red line, which is also going to be your mean for your Bollinger Band, which is your organic channel or your lagging channel. So what I wouldn't mind saying, which I'm comfortable saying, is that on good volume, which we'd like to see, we'll probably want to look at a shorter term chart, but right now we're on daily. On good volume, you can reasonably enter and target this line, 1929, which is not bad. Just not bad. That's kind of a big trade, actually. So let's go down to a shorter time frame. I'm going to hide my volume profile. Let's go to a shorter time frame. This text is just, I don't know why that's there. All right, so SKLZ, let's go down to the 30-minute. And we can look at the spike in volume. So on the 30-minute chart, we're about double. We're like 100% above the average volume. So I think you've got some strong volume behind you to carry this upper band a little bit higher. Although it looks like it got a little bit pushed back. Well, let's just draw a little support line here. Looks like it wants to hold support because the previous close was right at this line. The open was right here, and it hasn't quite broken down past that. And if you're looking at this purely from a trend perspective, down, 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 a little bit sideways down, this is a true curve up. All right, so we've got on the 20, I mean, look at this. This was a pretty nice impulsive move following a curve up. So I think this is nice for a trade. Intraday. And then maybe hold if it breaks through. So like we're back on the daily. I think this is nice for an intraday trade. And then if it's still holding on good volume and green candles, you can look at that 19.25 target. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Oh, we already did CRM, didn't we? Did we do Salesforce? I don't have any markings on it. All right, so CRM. And this is shout out to Joe McCarthy for this one. So looking purely at price for CRM, which Salesforce is an amazing company. I'm going to switch to weekly to look at this one because I think that this is just a massive corrective phase that's going to precede a bigger move. Just drawing these out to just get a good idea of the angle that they're on. Yeah, all right.
Hey, Neil, can I make a quick PSA? If for whatever reason Coinbase opens up during the show, I'm just going to interrupt you and tell you that.
For sure. Thanks, man. CRM, I would look for a breakout. And you've got it. I mean, look at this. This is weekly, by the way. This is a massive impulsive phase. This whole thing is just, if you're looking at the weekly, this whole thing is an impulse up. And I don't know what the hell this candle was because I don't see earnings. Maybe earnings just aren't on my chart. Had to be. So this is our pull measured up to the final point in the preceding impulsive move. And then we're going to add that to what may be the breakout point, which it looks like it wants to happen soon. We're still on low volume, but we shall see as the day unfolds. Big profit potential here if you're holding it over the course of a few weeks, like several weeks, actually. Let's get it to a daily. So we're trading within a channel. So the next thing that we can do is use our auto-generated channel tool, which is the linear regression. Delete our lines. And kind of treat this like a flag. And then what you see is something that a lot of tech stocks have been doing. Double bottom that we're going to box in. The meat of the trade. Boom. Let's use volume profile to confirm that's the meat of the trade. Try to get this. Oh, yeah, that's going to give me the midway point because there's so much. Okay. So because this one didn't have a clear pivot in the middle, the meat of the trade is going to be all of this consolidation in between. That's fair. So we'll just use candles to decide on that. And so we'll go down to the body here. looking good so far. Setting up price targets. This looks like it's resolved, of course. Height of our box added to the neckline. Firmly broken out. This now served as support on April 12th. We had a very short consolidation phase right here. And just the measured move there added to our breakout is about where we're trading at today. Can you guys see that? Might be hard to see. You see that? Just about where we're trading at today. So that looks like we might be doing a little bit of a corrective phase today. We shall see. Let me move this. Whoops. For CRM. Okay, yep, right on the wick. So the cool thing is this measured move within here at the breakout lines up perfectly with what we did yesterday. So cool. So far, this is our corrective phase. What you might expect, depending on how the day unfolds, is something like this, perhaps on a breakout tomorrow. But then your bigger breakout, the most important thing, is going to be above your resistance here. Your larger resistance. Which I should do this justice, do this properly. Say something like this. And that's the big move. That's the big long-term forming move is above this pink line. Our breakout above this pink line, which actually, yeah, it's lined up with this high, is going to give you the height of this impulsive move up. So CRM looks like it's set up to really go. Really nice. Okay. Guys, smash the like if you like CRM. All right, so let's take a look back on Twitter. Okay, this person called me a good sir. Thank you, Urina. LMMP on the weekly and 4 hour, even with the time frames. LMMP lithium. Okay. Oh. What happened?
It's LMMPF.
Yeah, I know. I selected that. We might not have. I don't think this platform has pricing data for LMMPF, unfortunately. We can try Pro.
No, I don't think it has it either.
Okay. Well, thank you for providing the time frames, Urina. Unfortunately, we can't cover it now. But if I can get to another platform that has it, I'll tweet back at you with the chart. I'll try my best.
I'll put a link in chat where you can find pricing info on this.
Okay. And then F and Orgo. So let's take a look at Ford. I mean, Ford is a beauty right now. It's just trading upward in a beautiful channel. This is what we want. This is what we want our tech stocks to turn into, which it would appear that they are. So with Ford, you're getting a bounce off of your lower standard deviation on your linear regression here. So you're going to target this median line. A couple ways you could do this. You can turn on your linear regression tool, and that will tell you what you can target. Also, let's box it in. Get the meat of the trade there. Bring this down just a little bit to this wick. How about that? Very nice. Measure the height of our box. Not exactly perfect. But you can target. Looks like you're basically targeting the resistance, the prior high, and then you're going to look for a breakout above that. So I would say you can target 1362 with Ford, and you can do this right now. Right now. So drawing a line on the daily chart on Ford from the high point on March 15th. And what time is it? Okay, I'm good on time. To the pivot in this double bottom that's forming right now. And you know it's official because we've got this green candle showing that the right pivot has formed. You can now reasonably target two things. This midway point which is just about where that line is. Really nice. So you can from right now, you can reasonably target for a very short-term trade, quick money, $12.50. All right. And then upon a break, because sometimes you get consolidation at this halfway point. That's what happened with Palantir. Upon a break above this, you can then target the neckline, which is $12.90. And then upon a break above the neckline, you can then target $13.71 on forward. So looking really good. And I think that most likely, just given all of the things that are happening here, I'm willing to bet that this will be the moment that it returns to mean. So it might look something like this. That's Ford. Good stocks. Good picks. So thank you, Ronnie, for Ford. To EV or not to EV? That is the question. We got an English major in the house. Okay, let's check it on Orgo. This was our high type flag. Woo! The time might be upon us, my friends. Okay, so we have our high type flag, which faked us out with a rejected breakout, with a failed breakout, just like NMM previously did, our lovely shipping stock. So we drew up our high type flag here, and look, up, fake out, return with a vengeance. Back to Orgo. Almost identical. It's crazy. But looks like we're breaking out again. This stock, again, this is a swing trade. This is a swing trade town because you should be holding this for the long-term resolution, which is up at $33.47, which is, here, let's just click this. No, I drew it out too far. Let's use our handy-dandy ruler. I believe it's a 50% move. Yeah, it's a 50% move, probably over the course of a week or two. And it will have bumps along the way, but it's a swing trade. Or swing or position, however you want to slice that. At any rate, we are looking for a solid break above resistance, which we're currently at. But at 3:45, when my little Amazon Alexa reminds me to check all my picks, that's when I'll be looking for entry if we are still solidly above the breakout. And I'll be keeping my stop loss very tight. That's Orgo. Okay, so let's get to FRSX. Was this therapeutics? I feel like this one's been on the show before. Oh, Foresight Autonomous Holdings. Is this EV? Oh, wait, what? Finance, real estate development? Okay. It's hard keeping track of all these names. Okay. Every stock in the world looks like this right now. We're getting our bounce here. Now let's draw our sloping line of resistance from the top down to the next highest point, which is what we'll have to do on this. So you may enter now if you want to be aggressive, as many of you honestly should be. If you have time to do it and watch the charts, by all means do it. We're in a decent spot with RSI. RSI is curling up. The MACD, I would like to see the MACD do a little claw action. But you know, the stock is really low priced. Also watch your volume. So let's go ahead and look at it on the 30-minute. And it's looking not bad on the 30-minute. RSI curling up, MACD coming up. Volume still below average though. So you might get that thrust through this line, and when you get that, I mean that's when you're going to have a lot larger moves, a lot bigger moves. But you might get this thrust through the line on higher volume. However, if you want to day trade this, I mean everything's looking like a green light. It's got this little bottom out here, little double bottom. And then we're going to box it in. Oops. There we go. Meat of the trade, down to resistance, broken out of that. depth of the box, added to the neckline of the box. Yeah, so I think you got room to go. I think it'll get up there before it starts to go into a corrective phase. And then let's go ahead and, since we're on the 30-minute, let's pull up our EMAs. The 20, this is a little bit slow because it's 30-minute, but the 21 and 8 EMA look like they're about to converge a little bit, but there's a nice curl on our fast line here, which is the red one. So the red one looks like it's about to cross the blue one, which is the buy signal using these two moving averages. So it looks like it's about to flash a solid buy signal. We shall see, but I think you can easily target $5.44. Foresight, FRSX. All right, switching back to the daily for a swing trade. I would just want to see a break above this sloping line of resistance, which could maybe be a little bit tighter. But yeah, looking good here, especially if this candle gets to like the height of this one, the red candle. Okay, so I think we have a guest present. All right, I've got 4 minutes before we do our guest lesson. FRSX. Smash that like if you think we're doing good time on getting through these picks. Okay, so let's do a little revenge trading. Let's look at PLTR. Look, it's you can day trade it, you can trade short term, you can be aggressive. My style is I've got a microwave trade. I got to set it and forget it because I got a full-time job that's very demanding of my attention. So I want to see a break above this neckline. Yes, we are out of this downward sloping trend. Yes, we are in a reversal territory. But for Palantir and with everything else going on, I want to see a break above this before I really start piling in. I did buy it some shares, but it's a very small amount. I think I put in like $500 worth, which is like my typical easing in entry price for swing trades. Okay, so the PLTR, FRSX, SUM. This will be the last one before we bring on our illustrious guest. Here, Nick. Okay, yeah, let's look at this whole darn thing. Let's switch to weekly. Lovely. Loving it. Loving it, loving it, loving it. All right, so in the intermediate term, ascending triangle reversal pattern, which we want to resolve. So let's get the height there and just find our lofty goal. So our lofty goal will be a new all-time high at about 43.5. And then resistance along the way. We'll go ahead and pull out our Fibonacci to get an idea of the trials and tribulations that we'll go through on our way up there. And they're lining up with these periods of consolidation pretty darn well. Unfortunately, I need to make those really bold so you guys can see them on your screens. So it makes an unclean chart, but that's okay. That's okay. You can see the 76 line here lining up. Is it 76 or 78? I don't care. The one with the 7 in it, lining up with this period of consolidation. But let's take a look at this period of consolidation. Sloping resistance. Crazy sloping support. I can look at this. I have no problem looking at this like a pennant, but no need to get too orthodox about it. We're on the this is weekly. We switched to daily. Yeah, that's nicer. Okay, then it makes a little more sense. We've got our clearly drawn apex. So it is tightening up. The volatility is tightening up. So there's a squeeze, which is usually followed by expanded volatility. Let's measure the pull of our pennant. Conservatively, I'll use the pull starting February 22nd and add that to our apex for our aggressive pennant target. Whoops. So where those two lines converge. And then for our less aggressive target, I'll do the measured move, the swing high within the pennant down to the swing low, and then add that to the hypothetical point of breakout, which who knows? Could be happening any one of these days. But it's going to be a move about the height of the difference between the price on March 11th, which is 31.01, and the low on March 25th, which is 29.05. And that's how you get this measured move target. But this measured move, you want to place where the breakout is. But look at this. You're going to hit resistance at this previous high. So I would not be surprised if you get something that looks like this. Breakout, consolidation. Nice little trade upon a breakout of the sloping line of resistance. SUM, Summit Materials, non-energy minerals. All right, good space to be in. All right, so that's a big shout out to Matt Q. Thank you for that one. Sorry, everyone, that I didn't get to. First come, first serve, unfortunately. But keep them coming. Keep them coming. And if you have questions, or if you want me to look at a chart and just confirm your theory so you don't feel crazy, I'm happy to do that. Just tweet at me. All right, we are at, what time is it? It's 10:01. I think we made some decent time. Can we bring on our illustrious guest? I'll go ahead and do it. I'll go ahead and do it myself.
What's up, Neil? How you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Nick?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me on.
It's great to have you here. Would you mind, for folks that don't know you, giving yourself a little introduction?
Absolutely. Well, for those of you guys, shout out to the Benzinga crowd out there. I love you guys' stream, and I watch a lot of your content. And always honored to be asked to come back on. This is my second time being on with you guys. So my name is Nick. I talk mostly Forex, and I talk indices, commodities, and that sort of thing. But I do cross over into stocks a little bit as well. I have a YouTube channel here talking all about that stuff. And I have a small media company surrounding financial stuff, mostly focused on the foreign exchange and, like I said, commodities and that sort of thing.
Very, very cool. And then so what are you watching today that you might want to share with the folks?
Sure. So I think right now, one thing to watch for, or one thing that I just got done doing my own stream. We were looking at gold a lot today, just looking at the gold market and taking a look at that. We formed sort of a low in March and here in April. That's sort of interesting. We formed like a double bottom and watching for that reversal. I'm trying to think of stuff that might be a little bit more interesting to the stock traders out there. One thing I also did think with everything going on with the Coinbase IPO and with Bitcoin sort of exploding is I find it very interesting that gold is so lagging behind, because there are some similarities there, but it seems like gold is just left in the dust, no pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's an entirely separate market structure of participants in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, the whole concept is like similar, because you're buying something that is like deflationary in theory. It's like over time it grows in value. But gold looking at like 2 to 3% per year, but Bitcoin is doing what? I don't know, 100% per year lately. It's been crazy. So yeah. It's a different, but some similarities in other ways as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. So what is your approach to technical analysis? Would you like to share your screen and maybe show us how you look at stuff? And it's
Sure.
okay to do commodities or whatever financial instrument you want. Sure. We're here just to see how to chart. It applies to all markets.
Cool. Yeah. Let me see. I guess that's true. You guys, this is your technical focus. So I'll share my screen here. Do this guy here. Does that work for you?
I see it now. I'm adding it. Yeah,
Cool.
Looking good. And while you're doing that, full disclosure, I'm going to heat up my coffee and run to the restroom really quick. I will be back.
No problem.
So the show is yours, my friend.
Cool. All right, you guys, we're going to take a look at some stuff. I'll see what I can do that might be more interesting to some of you guys who are more focused on stocks. But let's see what we can do. So I'm looking at the NASDAQ this morning. NASDAQ has just been crazy. Of course, just breaking right through the highs. We had a little bit of scare. And one thing that I will say, crossing over with currencies, I know this is more technical, but just a little briefing on the fundamental side. NASDAQ 100, this is mostly a lot of tech stocks, right? And tech stocks took a real big pullback compared to some of the other stocks that were out there, or things like the S&P 500. A big reason behind that is because there was this fear of interest rate hikes. And that's something to do with the currency market. Obviously, the Fed's, every move is being watched by currency traders, by commodity traders, and of course with stock traders as well. So if you're ever wondering why during this time we actually saw a much bigger dip on tech stocks, it was because tech stocks, a lot of times they have to borrow more money and they're a little bit more subject to that interest rate sort of movement. So just a little thought to think about. But we do see now NAS just rallying right back. And from a technical perspective, I almost have to change this thing to green, because of course, here we go, breaking right through the highs. What I was mentioning about gold, though, I'll show you guys what the gold market is looking like. This is actually gold versus the dollar. You can look at, an ETF like GLD if you'd like, if you prefer trading ETFs or looking at ETFs. But this is just gold against the dollar, and it's basically just how a lot of times it's tracked on major markets. But anyways, so one thing I was talking about with gold is, comparing it to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been this absolutely monstrosity of a thing that just keeps going up and up and up. Whereas the gold market has been sort of just in a lull. 2020 was a fantastic year for gold. If we go look at the daily chart for just a second, you can see, we just had this beautiful uptrend continuing to hold and stay above that 200-day moving average, which for me is a pretty key indicator that I like to look at. But now you can see we've actually just changed directions. We've been underneath it. But the thing I was pointing out on my own stream this morning was with gold, we formed this nice little double bottom. So we put a low in here in March, and then we also held that same low here towards the end of March coming into April, and have since seen a nice little rally. So it's arguably kind of a sympathy play with Bitcoin, but it's a little bit reaching in my opinion. But the idea with those of you guys who keep an eye on gold or pay any attention to it, or maybe even actively trade it, maybe you trade gold miners, whatever you look at, watching for, the thing that I was talking about was looking for, we've gone from this downward market, right? We've complete down structure from a technical view, then changing completely to a sideways environment. And now what I've been looking for on the bullish side recently has been looking for something like this, the break to the upside, and something like this. So I'm a big momentum trader. So I like to see momentum before I get involved with trades. A lot of you guys, maybe you relate, maybe you trade more reversals, but for me, I like going with the momentum. And just to try and convert some of you guys on the currency side of things. If we take a look at like Aussie dollar, for example, this one from a technical view was a beautiful uptrend and still sort of is, as the Australian economy has been performing really well because a lot of their economy is based on trade. They've performed really well, but from a technical view, beautiful sort of uptrend. And for me, a big deal is always just going with the momentum, going with the dominant market energy. And the interesting thing there is it doesn't matter if you're trading crypto, if you're trading stocks, if you're trading bonds, Forex, whatever you're trading, the idea is the same for me, which is, I'm going with the trend, I'm going with the story, I'm going with the momentum, and I'm trying to bail quickly if it does not go my way. I think, I have my dad's a big stock trader, and I know lots of stock traders as well. And some of the similar concepts have been applicable to them, where you're looking for these moves that are, you can risk small relative to a potential great gainer. Keeping an eye on, like, Bitcoin is like one of the best examples of this. These are markets where, if you catch a good rally on Bitcoin, and speaking of some of the IPOs that are coming out, maybe they act the same way. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But that concept of like, hey, you try and buy the pullback, you get into it, and if it rallies, you let it run. If it doesn't, you stop out of it quickly, right? So these are concepts that I like to approach when looking at any sort of market. Doesn't matter if it's Forex, stocks, like I said, any of them. Sorry for the rant, Neil. Hopefully some of you guys enjoyed that. That's just some thoughts on different market environments.
No, I wouldn't call that a rant at all. I think that was very easy to follow. You must do this for a living.
I do.
Okay, so very, very cool. What are some interesting things that you see happening that might be opportunities for folks to watch that are like here? I'll be straight up with you. I'm going to be honest with the audience as well. A lot of folks are very interested in sort of pump, Reddit, FOMO kind of opportunities, and understandably, because that's you can make like 10 grand in a day, whatever, if you get it right and you're lucky. So for folks that are looking at those types of stocks, what are some interesting opportunities that you see ahead that might be something they should look at?
So it's actually interesting that I saw before I jumped on the stream with you, I was just keeping an eye on it. I saw you were looking at FRSX. I actually own that stock. I bought it at, let me see if I can pull it up. I can't even remember when I bought it. I bought it like in this wick. It was like a crazy day. I mentioned that my dad trades stocks. Well, he called me up and he said, hey, this stock, keep an eye on it. I jumped into that stock and it just like by the end of the day, it had rallied. I bought it somewhere down in the low. By the end of the day, it had just gone crazy. I really like that company. I think it has potential. Especially if you're looking at possibly expanding out to other countries in terms of investments. Right now, I think like for me, I have a hard time buying a lot of stocks at this level just because I keep an eye when I buy stocks, I like to buy it when the index is sort of down in general, just in case, if there's a dip coming on the SPY or the NAS or whatever, I like to sort of buy my stocks when everything is down, not when some are down, some are up, but the overall market is up. So for me, in terms of opportunities, it's actually not like super pressing for the stock world. I do think that this IPO on Coinbase will be really interesting, but my personal way of approaching it is I'm not going to buy it the first day. I'm not going to buy it the first week. I'm going to watch to see how it is sort of received as it hits the market. Obviously, Bitcoin has been crazy with anticipation. I know like today it's been super bullish just because of the IPO. So I will be watching the IPO myself. That sort of seems like the main talk of the town right now, at least from what I see. In terms of other opportunities, like I said, I'm probably more of on the boomer side than on the to the Reddit side, because I trade like I said, commodities and Forex, which can be very, very slow. But I think that in the stock world, being a little picky right now is probably the way to go for me as well. I'm mostly not buying stocks. I've done most of my buying on dips, right now with stocks at all-time highs. It's not that it can't keep going. I'm not saying that. It's just that it's one of those things. I'm cautious when we're sort of looking like we're a bit extended, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. So when you're talking about the types of markets and types of assets that you're staying in, historically, how have they worked out for you in terms of like what do you like about them so much? What does it do to your peace of mind, your mind state, as you're watching these things go?
Yeah, so I think for me, like when I say that I really like trading Forex and commodities, the reason I like that is one big reason is that they're open more often. It's kind of like crypto. Crypto's open all the time, right, for trading. Forex is open like 6 days a week, which is kind of nice. And I'm also sort of a fundamental trader as well. So I'm looking at, macro trends and stuff like that. And I really enjoy that. So that's like my comfort level, where I just feel the most comfortable trading indices, maybe some ETFs, Forex. I can get sort of a big picture rather than narrowing in on an individual stock, if that makes sense. Yeah. I do invest in individual stocks, but I'm not super sort of day trade heavy on the individual stock side of things. So that's like where my comfort zone is at. I like Forex for that reason. I can sort of look at, what's going on. Do I think the U.S. economy is going to outperform compared to other economies, such things like that?
Okay. Very understandable, actually. So if there's one thing that you could leave everyone with, since we're just about at time, that you think would be beneficial in today's market, what would that be?
Sure. I think especially in today's market, for me, since 2020, 2021, it's actually been a good sort of environment, if you will. The volatility spikes have been really great for my style of trading, and maybe for some people out there as well. I mentioned briefly earlier on in the stream that I like to let winners run. I like to let things that are working keep working for me, and I like to cut off things that are not doing so hot pretty quickly. And so I think that especially in this market environment, as you get to these sort of these higher levels, you're talking about a market that does look a little bit extended. I'm not going to say, oh, it's the top or anything like that. I'm just saying, as you look in these situations, being able to bail on losses quickly has been like the number one approach to trading that has actually yielded me the most. So you would think like, oh, your winners are going to be the ones that make the money. For me, it's the losses and controlling the losses that make all the money, because I don't care who you listen to, who you watch, who you think is the best guru out there. The reality is that everyone's taking losses, and the people who make the most are the ones who control them and can handle them the best, at least from my experience and from the people that I work with who are also experienced traders. We seem to be on the same page with that. So I would definitely leave that with you guys, especially in a market environment with all this volatility. Don't get caught on the wrong side of something and hold on to it forever. For me, the best approach is to get rid of the losses quickly and let the winners do their thing. So that's what I would leave you guys with.
Wonderful. Cut your losers, guys. Thank you, Nick, so much for being here with us. Where can folks find more from you so they can keep learning how
So
you
you can
do
search
things?
up my little my username there, Trader Nick on YouTube or on Instagram. You can follow me there. Some of you guys, if you want to become more of a boomer like me and look at currencies and stuff like that, then you're more than welcome to come hang out with me. We also have a website, a1trading.com. You can read up on what our writers and analysts. We're like a very, very small version of Benzinga focused on Forex. So
Super cool, man. Super cool. Well, thanks for being with us today.
awesome. Well, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.
You too, man. See ya.
See ya.
All right, guys, that's Trader Nick FX. Make sure you check him out. He and a couple of his colleagues have just been awesome. Really love that group. Really, really love that group. Okay, so we've got some time. What do you guys want to look at? What do you guys want to talk about? Let's get back to. So I was tweeted upon by Urena. I got the ticker wrong, so we'll see if we can get this. So it's IMMP. I think I was trying to do an L. So let's get the screen share going again. Whoops, sorry. All right, so we're looking at IMMP. Okay, so this should be the right one, right? And let's get the rest of these open too so that we can see everyone else's picks. Indigo. Here we are. Okay, so we got our pick list here. Got a little pro open. A little Benzinga Pro. All right, IMMP. Switching to the monthly. Well, it's got a very broad base. Going back very, very long. Looks like this broad base was October 1st, the day before my birthday. And now let's start looking at this like a potential reversal. Let's box it in. Low. Whoops. Box, please. Low. Meat of the trading. Just using the body of the candle there. Gonna bring it down a little bit. Maybe even a little bit lower. Yeah, that's more appropriate. So we get some resistance today, right at where the body of this candle was, and the pivot here in our sort of sloping double bottom. One thing is when the double bottom doesn't have the same level, like when they're not symmetrical, it's usually nicer to see the right pivot be higher than the left pivot. So this is showing that buyers were willing to let this go lower before coming in. So not great, but we will carry on nonetheless. The absolute depth up to the neckline of our double bottom here takes us up to 660, 670. Which is right about where we were hitting resistance here back in February 14. February 14. We'll switch to the daily. So that's a long-term resolution that we're looking for. Yep. But you know what? You could also just treat this whole thing as a big old rounding bottom, but I'm less comfortable doing that because of how high this thing went. So let's look much shorter term. I think this is the type of stock that you want to look at on short term. I don't know what they do. Health technology of some type. So now we're looking at short term. I'm moving my box out of the way so I can get a bead on it. Yeah, man, this is like Spike City. Looks like probably. I mean, this is probably the type of stock that where every time a headline comes out that says FDA with the ticker in it, there's a pop. But the immediate thing that's going on here, he's got a cute little pennant. There you go. A little impulsive move up here, like that. Which allows you to target about $4.07. Let's do the measured move for a more conservative price target, which is going to be pretty close to the same price. So hypothetical breakout, wherever it breaks out, you'll take this measured move and let that be your target for selling before the consolidation makes you start to lose your profit potential. And like I said, it's pretty much the same here because the pull is so short. But you can reasonably, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing this, going to back a little bit further in time to make a larger pull, adding it to your apex, and having a more aggressive price target like that if you see a break above. So that's IMMP. Yeah, double bottom here, failed breakout, coming down. You can treat this thing, maybe look at this like a little rounding bottom action. And get even more aggressive. The low up to the neckline, which I'll use the wick for that. Add it to the neckline. Whoops. And get an even higher price target. But this is something you probably want to look at on a shorter time frame, right? It's because of the way it behaves. So this is more of a day trading stock. And if you really study the company, it could be something that you time around those FDA filings or FDA releases. Positive trial results, production deals, those types of things, or even announcements that like the CEO of the company is going to speak at a conference, like a health or medical conference, can make a stock like this really, really pop. So yeah, I mean, I think we found some conclusion here. Okay. Richard, yeah, so trailing stop loss strategy. So the way that I use a trailing stop loss, or at least where I most often use them, would be in something like ARK in an ETF. So I'm bullish on ARK. It looks like it's hitting resistance right here, but nonetheless, what's a good one to use for this? Let's just look at SPY. That's the best way right now. When you're looking at SPY, you can see that it's just in a long-term upward trend. I want to just keep averaging into SPY, but I don't want to lose a lot in a single day. So like if something like this happens, like COVID, or I don't remember what happened on September 3rd, but there's a big drop in SPY. If there's a big drop in a single day, I'd rather sell and then buy at the bottom because I know how to read charts to an extent. So for me, I use a trailing stop loss of 7% on my long-term trending upward holdings. And that just allows me to, I can't watch the charts all the time. So while I'm at work, I want to make sure that they get sold if there's something cataclysmic happening. 10% drop in something like that is a correction. So I want to sell before the correction. That's just how I do it. Okay, so going back to the picks, we got SUM, AACQ. Okay. Finance, okay. A little bit crazy. Bring in some moving averages. Bringing in that's the 200. Bringing in the 50 day. This thing's not old enough, or is it? Yeah, it's old enough. It's not old enough for 200. So we'll go ahead and move that. So it's trading below the 50-day moving average, obviously. Let's go ahead and bring in our linear regression. It's not really telling us much. Let's try our Bollinger Band. Okay, so one way to look at this is the Bollinger Band squeeze thing. I'm going to open up a Keltner channel really quick. We haven't done this really on the show. So Keltner, I believe. Yeah, Keltner channels. So you can use these two channels, the Bollinger Band and the Keltner channel. And you can look for what is called a volatility squeeze. A volatility squeeze occurs when the Bollinger Bands go within the Keltner channel. And that is usually followed by an expansion in the Bollinger Band due to volatility in the price. And depending on what the trend is, that can be either to the upside or the downside. This is in a downward trend according to both of these channel tools. You can see it here, starting to enter a sideways trend. Signs of a reversal, not totally clear on the daily. I mean, you can see this. If I box this in, it might illustrate it. You can see this potentially as a pivot point, as a pivot period, rather, for a reversal. But let me just get the Keltner out of the way. I mean, there is potential for expansion. This, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen soon. I would look for a nice, and yes, it's like an indicator, but I would look for a nice curl upward. Paintbrush tool, there we are. Curl upward on our MACD and a curl upward on our moving average here. And you're going to hit resistance immediately. So one very easy way to look at this is that if the expansion happens, if the expansion happens, you're going to want to watch for this $10.44 level. And that would be a return to the mean on the Bollinger Band as well. So that's just one or two ways to look at that stock. Thank you, Mohammed. Happy Mohammed. So we've got, how much time do we have? We have 3 minutes. We got time for one more stock. So that's AACQ. So we'll do, looking at this one, we'll do Futu. So I've still got my 50-day moving average up, and this thing is holding the 50-day moving average. So bullish right away. We've got a V for Vendetta pop here, which got us to this period of sideways consolidation. So let's measure our impulse following the right side of our V for Vendetta. Let's do our nice little pennant. Very nice. Lovely. We are above that 50-day. We're in healthy range. The second this thing crossed above the 50-day, look at the pop. See that action? That's a barometer that a lot of investors use. So now you can look for a breakout with a price target of 210. Oh, you silly. 210. Just watch for resistance along the way. Using our handy dandy ruler tool. That's a 40% move. Sick. Watch list added. You've got a broader downtrend here, so this can be extended up. So a breakout out of this is going to be a nice little reversal. Definitely watch for that. All right, guys. It is that time. Where's my thing? There we go. Woo! It has been quite a week for me. I got this. Let me get this window out of the way. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and bearing with us with our technical difficulties today. I had a lot of fun. I've been missing out on sleep. I do need a day off. So if that's showing, I apologize. I'm going to go to bed at like 8 p.m. tonight. So I'm going to be up bright and early for you guys, doing the best that I can to provide a good show. Thank you, everyone, for using Twitter to give me your picks. Remember that if you tweet them at me, when I put my daily request up, first come, first serve, you'll get your picks on the show. So that's at Neil's tweets for those. Big shout out to Trader Nick FX. That guy's awesome. Very approachable. A nice young man. Very nice young man, if I do say so myself. With me as always, producer AB. Just noticed that you've shown up. Hey, how's it going? And big shout out to Spencer, Israel, and to Mitch Hotch, story investor, for helping out with the show this morning. This has been Get Technical. I'm Neil. Happy trading.